Good morning everybody, it's 7:30 Wednesday the 6th of May. This video continues where the last one left off, when we would move the fish out of the tank behind me, and then we're going to clean the tank down, and that was something that happened yesterday afternoon, late evening, and I finally got that finished about 8 o'clock in the evening, which was somewhat behind schedule. It was supposed to be the job for first thing in the morning. Anyway, it's done. There's some question marks about why I was doing that particular process of cleaning the tank down, jet washing the sides. It's simply about cleanliness. I don't know a single breeder in Japan who, if they're breeding inside in concrete ponds, who wouldn't be cleaning the ponds down. It was something we always did at Perding Koi Farm in the years I was there that you'd have seen. So it just makes natural sense. Large fish may be under no problem, but there may be anything lurking around that can affect the fry and affect the eggs mainly as well. Obviously, if you've seen last year's videos, you know that as soon as the eggs are laid, within 12 hours we treat with malachite green to stop fungus growing on those eggs. So the fact that you've got as many of those bugs out of the system as possible before the spawning took place is the reason it's done. I'm not going to suggest it's sterile by any stretch of the imagination, but it's damn sight cleaner than it was this time yesterday. So the tank's now full. I filled about midnight last night. I didn't have time, or I didn't have the inclination last night to do the stuff that I needed to do to get it all up and running. However, that's why I'm here this morning at 7:30 to get that done. Just check the temperatures of the females and the males outside. The covers have helped keep that temperature as I'd hoped. The females are running 18.6 degrees. The males are a couple of degrees lower than that, which was their ambient temperature from earlier in the week. So they've kept their temperature. Females have cut much of their temperature. So now it's a case of getting this up and running, getting some warmth into the tank. Before I do that, I need to do some water tests. I'm going to test for some chlorine in the water. This is obviously just comes straight from the tap, so lightly loaded with chlorine. So I'll dechlorinate this first before putting it through the filtration system. And that's that. So I'm going to show you those tests now, and then we're going with it. Okay, the first test we're going to do is a DPD4 chlorine test. This is a technique that I got from my good friend of mine, Sid Mitchell, an Essex koi keeper, now a South East member in the UK here. Very much a water geek kind of person, also looks after water at koi shows around the country, including the big Cookhouse National. This was a technique he devised to check for available chlorine at show situations, to make sure water had been dechlorinated properly before it was put into show pools. So we're going to do this. It's a simple test that either says there's chlorine there or there's no chlorine there. Okay, so what I'm going to do simply is to take one of the tablets from this blister pack. 2 vials of water here, both fresh from the tank. And what I'm going to do is add a tablet to one of them, and if there's any colour change within that vial, it will tell me that there's some chlorine present in the water. It doesn't tell me how much chlorine, but that's not what I need to know. I need to know there's no chlorine in the water at all. So I'm going to drop this tablet in there, and then we'll see the quick colour change that would likely to take place. So the tablet's been in there for a few seconds, and we can see as it dissolves there at the bottom, if we look through against the white background, there's clearly pink tinge coming to the water, which, as fully expected, that means there's chlorine in this water at the moment. So we'll add some dechlorinator, and hopefully we can test again and find there's none. Okay, so I have some Colombo Fish Protect dechlorinator, and see what it does, claims to do. Dosage rates 50 ml per 1,000 litres of water. Double dose if needed. Ensure sufficient aeration and circulation during administration. So we've got plenty of aeration going into the tank, and we're going to need, let's go for 250 millilitres, around 5,000 litres of water, give or take, and then we'll test again and see what the clearing is doing. So there we are, 250 millilitres of the Colombo Fish Protect, now about to go into the tank. Mix that out. And I'll give it a few minutes and test again. Okay, there's another tablet added to a fresh sample of water on the right hand side, and as you can see, as the tablet dissolves, there's no pink coloration accumulating around it, which is the first sign, and the water's staying lovely and clear. Apparently, according to SEER, this test is testing for all oxidant agents. So if there's oxygen in the water and you leave it too long, the oxygen itself will start to cause the pink colour change. But I'm happy that the Colombo Fish Protect has dechlorinated that water, and we have no colour change in that vial at all on the right hand side. So just sort them around and put them closer together just to double check again. But yeah, definitely no colour change to the vial with the tablet, which is now on the left hand side. So happy that this water's been dechlorinated and it is now safe for the fish. I still need to do other tests. I'll test for ammonia later as well. Okay, so that's it for now. Tank's now running, the mixers is running, pump's running, heater's running. So we'll get some warmth into the water, and then later on today I'll show you setting up the spawning net, the spawning ropes, and get everything ready for tomorrow morning when the male and the females, or female and the males, will be placed into the tank, hopeful for the spawning to take place on Thursday evening. Okay, it's now just coming up to 6 o'clock on Wednesday evening, and we're all set basically. Update on the temperatures, everything's coming together nicely. The females are outside they're sitting at 20.4 degrees at the moment. Males are 18.7 degrees, and the tank's up to about 18.3 or 4 degrees now. So everything's converging together nicely. I'll just have to double check those temperatures first thing in the morning, leave the heater on in here obviously to keep it warming through the night, and we're set, ready to go. My plan tomorrow morning, as I did last year, with 2 spawnings, and it worked in this way. My plan is I put males and females in together. There's discussion on Facebook about that just now, which is interesting. I know lots of breeders who do different things, and I called it superstition in a post on Facebook, and somebody thought it was more than superstition. I think it's just people believe what works for them. I'm not sure there's any scientific must-do process. So, as many of my breeder friends in Japan do, my plan is just to stick the females and males in together first thing in the morning, and then hopefully they'll acclimatise themselves with each other, get used to each other, and then by the time the evening comes, sometime during the night, on the first night hopefully, if not the second night, they'll get down and start spawning. So that's the plan. Just give you a quick look around the tank behind me, which has been set up, and every time we spawned last year, got a million questions about where did you buy this, where did you buy this. So basically, the net is 2 meters square, 0.5 millimeter mesh. This is made by the Matsuda Net Company in Japan, so it's made specifically for the purpose. It's made by in a special fabric, the name which escapes me. I think it's called Techron or something. And the characteristic of Techron is that it doesn't stretch. So the mesh size stays the same. So the 0.5 mil we've got is the 0.5 mil we have. I think that's probably an important point for the youngest of fry. I got a couple. You can get nets made in the UK by Northline Net Company up in Norfolk, and I have a couple of their nets. which I'll be using at a later date, probably for growing on fry rather than the spawning itself. And there is some stretch in the nylon material, so very small fry maybe could escape. Anyway, with regards to the spawning brushes, ropes, these ones here in the front of the picture, these are the Japanese ones. I had to question last year which were more effective, the Japanese ones or these readily available in Europe ones. Various different types. I think the Black Knight make them, and I think the Ornafish brands, Superfish make some as well, which are more the stiffer fibre, but they stand out more and seem to catch a lot more eggs more effectively than perhaps the Japanese ones did last year. At the moment, a bit where the Japanese ones have been packed up, they all seem to have gone rather flat and stuck together. Maybe they need to go in some warm water, but hopefully overnight they'll settle and sort of expand themselves a little bit more than they are at the moment. As I say, everything's ready now, so the next update on this particular video will be in the morning, probably about 6 o'clock in the morning, to get those fish moved across and into this tank, and that'll be the update you see of this video. Morning everybody, 5:30 in the morning, and it's time to put the parents together. This is the male tank, so first we want to pick up the two male Kujaku. Obviously, if you've seen, I think I mentioned previously, one of the males is a little bit suspicious as to whether it's male or not, but they'll both go in. The male from Wada and the male from Ofuchi. There's the Wada fish. Now may not be male. No roughness to the gill covers, but we'll pop it in. If it takes part, it takes part. Just to mention the temperatures, as suspected, are all in the ballpark of where we want to be. Takes just under 20. This is just under 20. It's about a degree or so lower, but no problem at all going up in temperature for them. There we go. Be good. Got to say the air temperature is rather chilly this morning, so good job these are covered up. Oh, yeah, this one's acting more like a male. Obviously we checked this when it came in. Gills were very rough. Oh. Yeah, it's still rough today. I'll bother checking to see if he's got sperm. Earlier in the video I was talking about purpose-made Japanese spawning net. For handling purposes, nothing beats the Japanese koi socks. Again, made by Matsuda, the same company that make these nets. Just absolutely fantastic. Came in so many different types. This one's designed to hold water, and that's what it does. Makes it so much easier to move fish simply. I've tried other versions made in different countries, and they hold a bit of water, they let a bit of water, but this is watertight, and you can get ones that are non-watertight if that's what you want. But anyway, let's get this little boy out. There you go. Right, let's go and get the girl. As I mentioned in the video the other day, the character is so docile. It would be. As I just mentioned with the sock, so it's easy just to release a bit of water out the end so you're not carrying too much. Hold the sock end here, the mesh bit, get a nice grip on the rubber handle. Keeps water in there. And there she is, simply and safely transferred. And there she comes. So there they are. First spawn in 2020, hopefully. Fingers crossed. This is the end of this video, and hopefully on the next video tomorrow morning I'll be able to update you and tell you that they've successfully spawned. So we'll see you then.